Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for participating of our seminar cycle via Google Meet or YouTube. Today we have the pleasure of having Dr. Stella Kafka as the invited speaker. Thank you very much, Stella, for accepting this invitation. And I would like to ask everyone to turn off your microphones and cameras during the presentation. And please use the chats to indicate if you have some question, both in YouTube and Google Meet. We will bring the questions to Stella after the presentation. And now Alessandro will tell us a little about Stella. Please, Alessandro.
Hi, everyone. So Stella is a very good friend of mine and one of my personal role models. Stella was born in Greece. She did her PhD in the United States. And after her PhD, she's been working at Cerro Tololo, Caltech, Carnegie in Washington, D.C., AIP Publishing. Since a few years, she's the director of the American Association of Variable Stars Observers. If you have ever been involved in time domain astrophysics, you have probably bumped into this association. Stella's very good at getting members for the association, and I can witness that. Yes, and Stella's going to tell us more about the association during this presentation. Stella, take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to both of you for the introduction. It's actually a great pleasure to be here, even virtually. I've been saying for a long time that, social distancing does not necessarily translate to social isolation. So even in these times where we are all stuck inside, we can still get together and discuss subjects of interest and even see each other on a screen. So it was really a great pleasure to see dear friends again. And be able to be given the opportunity to actually tell you a little bit about the AAVSO. So if this presentation sounds like an infomercial, like an advertisement, that's exactly what it is. So I would like to discuss how the AAVSO can help you join this exciting quest of understanding variable stars. And I hope by the end of this presentation, I will manage to convince you to join us. I will manage to convince you that this is a great resource for your own research, for your own outreach, for your own students' projects, or for your own personal interests. And we are here to help you along the way. So while I introduce the AAVSO, I would like to take a step back and describe the AAVSO community by introducing the concept of pyramid power. What we mean when we're talking about citizen scientists. Who are these amateur astronomers? Who are these people? And this is a concept that was introduced in 2000 by Gata, Stern, and Williams. And it pretty much says that there is a stratification, there is an ordering in how individuals are engaged in astronomy. So at the very bottom of the pyramid is the general public. These are individuals who have a casual interest in astronomy. For astronomers, you can think about them as the Oort cloud. So they are around, they're surrounding the research world, the astronomy world. These are people who read the news, they attend the lectures, they go to sidewalk astronomy events, they go to planetarium shows. They have a limited knowledge of astronomy, but they really like learning about it. So they're interested, but they're not involved, they're not engaged. And then something happens, like in the Oort cloud, there is a perturbation, and they become what we call novices in astronomy. Now, novices in astronomy are people who are very eager to learn and explore the universe by themselves. They're reading more, they're stargazing, maybe they get their first telescopes with binoculars or a DSLR camera. According to this study, the novices in astronomy phase is just that, a phase that lasts 1 or 2 years. Then most of these individuals have a dropout rate. They go back to becoming general public unless if those individuals have the right encouragement, and then they kind of move a little bit up and they become what we call amateur astronomers. These are what we would call serious hobbies. There is a huge range of them. So the motivation is the social aspect of belonging to a group, sharing the love and knowledge of the night sky, contribute their own talent, go out and enjoy the night sky, meteors, comets, solar system objects, planets, asteroids, variable stars, nebula, extragalactic astronomy. They're individuals who actually use their own telescopes for education and public outreach. You will see them taking their telescopes and showing the night sky in the middle of a city sometimes. These are people who are involved in crowdsourcing projects like Galaxy Zoo and Zooniverse. They want to do something. And some of them are members of the AAVSO. They take data for projects. They analyze data of variable stars. They want to contribute to science. And then we have at the very top of the pyramid, professional astronomers. These are people for whom formal education, research, experience, and actually publishing is really very important. Success is essential to survive. And this can't be professional and non-professional astronomers. They're highly skilled. For those individuals, recognition is really important. Publishing and giving talks. And actually, some of them, like some of you, have made astronomy their job. So this is pretty much the whole range of a citizen scientist pyramid. Specialization goes from bottom to top. And the AAVSO community is somewhere here. These are people who want to do something to contribute to the whole. Everybody plays a small role, and it doesn't really require understanding the big picture. People who acquire data, new and archival data, they analyze data, they have a deeper understanding, they even write papers, they do original research, they present in conferences. So every person here can be a citizen scientist in the AAVSO. So the AAVSO started in 1911 officially as an association to do citizen science. In principle, it was the first association that was founded in order to connect professional and amateur astronomers and help them collaborate on scientific projects. Since then, we have evolved to an international association with members and observers all over the world. And actually, while we were waiting for this presentation to start, I checked that Brazil has 25 observers, or had 25 observers in 2020. So there is representation from your country as well, the AAVSO. The reason why we're doing it is because we want to enable anyone, anywhere to participate in scientific discovery through variable star astronomy. So you see some very strong words there, and I just want to take a minute to reflect on them. Enable means that we provide the necessary resources and opportunities for people to actually work on variable stars. Anyone, it doesn't really matter what your socioeconomic background is or who you are, what your accent sounds like, you are welcome to the AAVSO. Anywhere, you should be able to have access to our resources no matter where you are in the world. And my favorite one, participate. Be actively engaged with the AAVSO in various ways. So per our mission, the AAVSO builds inclusive international communities. As long as individuals are willing to interact in a collaborative, respectful manner, they're welcome and encouraged to be part of the AAVSO's work and use all our resources. So you understand, as a consequence, we have a very diverse community. This translates to serving people with different needs, different priorities, different professional preparation, habits, cultural backgrounds. Anyone who wants to learn astronomy, in principle, we're all united under an international umbrella of astronomy. We have individuals who are interested in using variable star data for their research projects. We work with educators who introduce astronomy to their students. We collaborate with a very dedicated group of volunteers. And of course, we have observers, those who acquire data through their own telescopes, CCDs, or DSLR cameras, and share the information with a wider community through the AAVSO International Database. Here's some photos of some of our members. These are observers with the telescopes, professional astronomers discussing work with our members, students presenting projects, etc. It's my favorite way of showcasing some of my friends. At the very core of our program are variable stars, stars whose brightness is changing with time, within timescales that we can observe. In other words, The stars we're interested in change with time on timescales of hours, days, months, and we can actually measure those changes from here, from the Earth, with all types of means that you can imagine: telescopes, cameras, binoculars, etc. And here's one of my very favorite examples that showcase how variable star looks like. This is a series of 3 digital images of a star cluster taken at the same night. This is M3. And these 3 images were converted to a movie. So you can see them kind of rotate between them. If you keep a very close look at various stars here, for example, this one here, on this one here, you can see them blinking, changing in brightness, whereas most of the stars in this particular group do not change in brightness. The ones that do change in brightness are variable stars. And yes, they change as fast as 3 subsequent images taken in the same night. So what do we learn from variable stars? There's a great variety of reasons why stars are changing with time. And all those changes reveal something about the nature and how stars work. For example, eclipsing binaries are 2 stars together moving around the common center of mass. And as one is passing in front of the other, the collective light, the light from the system, is dropping in a very characteristic way, like this. Spotted variables, like are stars with large spots, star spots, like our sun. And as they change in brightness as the star rotates and the spot comes in and out of our line of sight. Pulsating stars are stars whose physical size is changing with time. They expand and contract, and as a result, they change their brightness in a very characteristic way. Supernovae are very dramatic explosions in the universe that accompany deaths of stars. Cataclysmic variables, there's literally stellar cannibalism in action, where a white dwarf, one star, is actually eating its companion through an accretion disk. And as a result, they have bursts of burps or outbursts or nova eruptions that we can actually study through data. These are some of the projects that our observers collect data on. These are some of the stars that our observers collect data on and try to understand. And the output of our citizen scientists' work is routinely presented in the astronomical literature, with many of our citizen scientists are co-authors in high-profile papers. So with that, I would like to actually go back and dedicate the rest of my presentation to tell you how the AAVSO can help you learn more about variable stars, how the AAVSO can be a resource for you as a researcher, how you can interact with the AAVSO community to get your projects done, collect data on stars, on projects of interest, and also what resources we have that you can use for your own research projects if you want to, or your classroom projects if you want to. And let me start by our observing sections, which are actually a way for our community to interact and learn more about all types of variable stars. This is information about exoplanets, high-energy targets, such as gamma-ray bursts and novae, alongside information, instrumentation, and equipment, which is actually some interest to our observers. This can be a way for our community to learn more about observing variable stars, why they're important, what type of observations are necessary. So I would like to encourage you to at least participate and even tell us about your project as part of one of the observing sections. Our citizen scientists would love to hear about those. And just as an example, I'm going to show you what we have in the Exoplanet section. This is just a snapshot. So what you can learn from there is pretty much general information on exoplanets and why they're important to observe them, how you can observe them, a way to join the section and be part of the conversation, a list of useful links and resources, which also include a target list and a link to our relevant forums. Our forums are actually a way of for our international community members to communicate and interact, to exchange ideas and share information. They're open to people from all over the world. And again, I'm using the Exoplanet forum as an example. Subjects that are being discussed here are related to observing campaigns, observing modes, specific targets, questions on instrumentation, software. So this is a way for people to interact from all over the world and learn from each other. So when you have your own project and you want AAVSO observers to actually take data for you, the best way to make sure that you get your data and you get the data you need is to actually go through our forums and discuss your projects with the community. Just treat our observers as your collaborators. They're taking data for you after all, and they're trying to do their best they can. For our community and for anyone's information, we have training material. We have manuals and guides for observation that are translated in various languages by our volunteers. We do have translations in Portuguese, so feel free to take a look and download them. They're all open source to actually read and use. Perhaps some of these can't be used in your observing techniques classes. We are also teaching software through those guides. For example, for exoplanets, we have a very good manual on AstroImage, which is a state-of-the-art piece of software that is being used by the exoplanet community to do ensemble photometry for targets of interest. And actually, lots of individuals who are doing variable stars now are actually using AstroImage to reduce their data. For our community, as well as anyone else who is interested, we have online courses. They're 4-week-long courses based on our forums, which also enable people from all over the world to participate and teach modes of observation and relevant software for data reduction analysis, and actually lead to data that can't be submitted to the AAVSO databases. We have an active peer mentoring program to enhance our observers' technical skills and provide advice from experts. But most importantly, provide opportunities for engagement. So for those who are interested in getting our observers engaged with your research project, we have an alert system, which is actually providing information to our community on targets that need immediate observing. Actually, not only immediate observing, long-term observing as well. So if a nova goes off and individuals really need data, multicolored data on this particular nova, our observers through our alert systems can be notified that there is a star of interest, what kind of data is being requested for professional astronomers or from whomever is interested actually to follow up this object, and at least be part of the conversation and start taking data. We direct them to our databases and to the resources they need in order to take the data. This is an example of our forums that showcase exactly this kind of synergy. This is a nova that went off in Sagittarius in 2015, and it turned out to be a super interesting nova. All kinds of shocks that you see here, and a nice big dust episode that was captured very nicely by our observers. And that was time that these were data that were requested in collaboration with HST, Hubble Space Telescope, and Chandra X-ray observations that were happening at different times of the light curve. So we did the ground-based support, the ground-based observations, while space telescopes were observing and acquiring data on those objects. Another way that we engage our observers in projects is through big collaborations. So we join collaborations such as the TESS Follow-up team. That has been a very interesting journey for all of us to actually identify false positives from the ground due to nearby eclipsing binaries, provide long-term light curves, improve ephemeridess of exoplanets, and all kinds of things. So this kind of projects, this kind of partnerships that we foster benefit both the professional astronomical community and our observers who really, really want to see, to be engaged in this kind of projects and see their data being used. Of course, we actually encourage people to build their own programs. And if you have telescope time in your hands, but not many targets, even if you're looking for targets to work on a small project with your students, we offer a way to build your own observing program through our targets tool. So pretty much what information you get from there is target information, like right ascension, declination, constellation, the minimum and maximum of that target, the variability type, it's a recommended cadence for observing, how frequently we would like you to observe this target. when the target was observed last, and all kinds of notes on that particular star. And actually, you can select stars based on their variability type, for example, exoplanets or binary stars and cataclysmic variables. And if you sign up in this particular tool, you can get targets that are visible from your own location. So if you need filler targets, if you need to build an observing program for yourself, this is a way to go. This is a really good way of getting stars that are in need of observation. We're also providing anything and everything you might need to prepare for your observation. I'm going to go through this quickly. We have a tool that provides finding charts and comparison stars. We have tools that allow you to upload and download data, a quick lookup of light curves, of your light curves and everybody else's, and also VSX, Variable Star Index. And I would like to point out that this is one of the most valuable resources for variable star researchers. It's a super catalog of variable star information. Right now we have more than 2 million points or 2 million entries on VSX. There are all types of variable stars from all kinds of surveys that are being updated there. So if you want to know what is the known information on a star, go to VSX. We're updating it as we go, as new information is being released, being published. We also provide tools for research. We want everyone to be able to do their own research. So these are two of the software tools that we really promote and teach our observers to use. VFOT is a data reduction tool. So you use DSLR or CCD images through VFOT, you can get light curves out of it. And VStar is actually a tool that can be used for data analysis. You can either upload your own light curves and do a full analysis of the light curves through VStar, or you can actually use light curves from our database, or you can use both. So you can combine your light curves from your own computer and light curves from our database to do your project. You can select different filters, you can run periodograms, you phase diagrams, the whole shebang is there. And it's actually free. It's open source for everyone to use. So you understand the very, very center of everything we do are our databases. The AAVSO International Database is what actually started the AAVSO. We have more than 42 million data points here on more than 30,000 stars. And some of them, about 1,000 of them actually, have data for more than a century. This is a gold mine of information, really very valuable resource for variable star observations. And actually here at headquarters, we work really very hard to maintain the quality of this database. For us, it's really very important when you as a researcher download light curves from our database, that the light curve is reliable. Remember, these are populated by individuals from all over the world with different means of observing different sky conditions and even different understanding of astronomy. And we are trying to actually help them improve their skills so that they can actually provide the data that you need. And what I really enjoy looking at is how the data is being downloaded every year. These are the top 10 countries. And actually, we have about, how many? 50 different countries represented here. But within the top 10, we have Brazil. So our data is being downloaded by scientists from Brazil. We just started an online repository, actually, of exoplanet data. And the goal of this is actually to collect long-term light curves of a selected number of exoplanet transits. This is a new initiative that actually started because our observers are very interested in doing exoplanet transits. We started it with the TESS team as follow-up of TESS targets. But at the same time, there is an opportunity to collect a longer baseline of these observations of these particular exoplanet transits for whatever reason you can imagine. Transit timing variations, ephemerides improving, looking for star spot effects, looking for inclination effects in exoplanets, exoplanet orbits, whatever science that can be done that actually we can't know right now because we don't have the data, and it can be enabled through decades of exoplanet transit observations, can be done through that database. We also started a spectroscopy database. Yes, there are small telescopes that have spectrographs on them. And actually, this is a project that we launched last year in 2019, before coronavirus. But right now, this particular database has spectra from all over the world, more than 4,000 validated spectra from our observers everywhere. You can find it through our variable star, through our spectroscopy observing section. It can be found here. And pretty much the information that you get from there is you can see the top 100 objects that are submitted to the database. You can search the database by object name, coordinates, observers, spectral resolution. You can submit your own spectra if you want to. You can discuss spectra through our forums, ask questions for the community, interact with our observers. You can get information on the spectroscopy database itself, how to find spectra, how to upload, download spectra, or any kind of documentation, such as our guide and manuals and all kinds of FAQs that we have in there. This past year, where everybody was literally stuck inside, made us think a little bit differently at the AAVSO. It's not only social distancing that prevent people from traveling to their observatories, also challenges for those of us who live in urban areas, light pollution, bad weather. We just can't take data. So we launched a set of data mining projects that enable our community members to participate in meaningful research from the comfort of your home. And these can be very good student projects if you're looking for a project. So for this one, you can actually find periods for stars without known values on VSX. So initially, we launched data mining projects based on VSX, but many more to come. So keep your antennas up. You can look at properties of specific stars, classified stars. You can improve VSX variables. You can actually check questionable stellar variability, all kinds of things like that. And actually, we're hoping that these projects will lead to publications at the Journal of the AAVSO or other means of publication as well. Speaking of, I hope that you know about the Journal of the AAVSO. This is actually a product that we have been curating for more than 40 years now. It accepts manuscripts from both professional and non-professional astronomers on all types of stellar variability. So if you do your own research project, you can publish here. And actually, if you have one good result that cannot make it to a big journal, like Astronomy and Astrophysics or the journal or PASP or monthly notices, etc., don't throw your result away. Write a small paper, send it to the Journal of the AAVSO. All the manuscripts can't be found on ADS, so you will be cited. It is a double-blind refereeing journal, so we remove all unconscious biases from the referees, and we enable both professional and non-professional astronomers to publish. So the manuscripts are being judged based on their merit and not the identity of the author. This is a very valuable avenue for variable star publications, both spectroscopic and photometric. So please keep that in mind. Now, for the younger members of my audience, I'm going to actually advertise a new program that we just actually initiated. And this is our AAVSO Ambassadors. These are individuals that are engaged in all kinds of activities, including, but not limited to, outreach, talks to schools, clubs, doing research, astrophotography, communication, social media, mentoring, anything you can imagine. This is our up-and-coming class of rock stars. I really love working with them. And they are representing the AAVSO in any capacity they want. So if you are a graduate student or an undergraduate student and would like to be a little bit more involved with the AAVSO's life and work, this would look really good on your resume. So this is how you can find more information on the Ambassador program. And here's an email that you can you can use in order to get more information about it and join us. Did I mention we offer free AAVSO membership for our ambassadors? Keep that in mind. I would like to end with some final thoughts. We live in the golden era of variable star astronomy. There's so many space and Earth missions that aim at exploring the night sky, and they will produce so many interesting stars to study and so many exoplanets to explore. And there are not enough professional telescopes to acquire the data that are necessary to help study and understand those stars. The AAVSO citizen scientists are essential collaborators nowadays for researchers all over the world. If not anything else, we need more observers to acquire and help analyze astronomical data. At the AAVSO, we do believe that diverse and inclusive scientific citizen science communities benefit science and benefit everyone. So I encourage you to become an AAVSO member or support the AAVSO through donations. For Brazil, the membership is $25 a year for a full membership. If you have any questions or need any help to get started, here's our email. Everything I talked about is on our webpage. All our resources can be found there, and they're open to download, use, and actually, please do download them and use them. This is why they're there. And with that, I'm going to wish you clear skies, be safe. Thank you for your attention, and ask if there are any questions for me. And I am going to stop sharing my screen, I think.
Thank you very much, Stella. I think it was an incredible talk, and I think there are so many possibilities, and I was thinking myself about how many possibilities there is for using in undergraduate courses, projects and classes. Thank you very much for the talk, and I will open for questions now. We have one here from Maria Victoria. Please, Maria, open your microphone.
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you very much for this great presentation. It's really, really interesting, this project of yours, and it's been going on for such long years. I don't remember if I missed it. So where are your headquarters?
Hello?
Hi.
I can hear you. Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you very well.
Okay, I don't know if I missed, if you mentioned, where are your headquarters right now?
Our headquarters are in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Okay.
We are in the US. Yeah, we are in the same area where we were founded. Not the same building, the same area. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And also I have a question about the journal that you publish. That I find it actually really great that this is double-blinded. That's great. I just how many articles you get to publish per year approximately?
So it depends. It's a small journal right now. We're growing it very aggressively. We just got a new editor-in-chief last year, Professor Nancy Morrison, who is a powerhouse for the journal. Right now we have about 40, 50 journal manuscripts a year. And we've already seen an increase.
This is very great. Yeah.
Yes, it is. What I really like is that it is discoverable on the ADS. So it's really important as researchers, to get your research out, but also to be cited.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So for people to give you credit for your work. And that is why I'm encouraging people to publish even the smallest result, because, if someone needs that outcome, that result to do their own research, if it's not published, they will have to redo everything.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? And continue with their work. No results should be left unpublished. So people can find you on ADS. They can cite your work and your publication. So it's a good avenue if you have one small result. What I'm telling my colleagues is that, if you have a result that needs to go to a Nature magazine or Science magazine or whatever it's, the astronomical journal, send it there. You should send it there. But if, again, one small result, please publish it to the Journal of the AAVSO.
Okay, yeah, it's a great message to keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a place for all results.
Yes, sure, absolutely.
Great. Now, please, Elizabeth,
Oh, hi.
go ahead.
Really an amazing initiative. It's very nice to know that there are this sort of efforts, and it's such a huge community already, and has been for such a long time working, and it's working very nicely. I have a couple of questions. One regards to GRBs, because I was curious that GRBs are included in your program, but GRBs, I mean, the optical counterparts of GRBs are very, very hard to be identified, and because these are essentially cosmological features, right? So I was wondering what would be the contribution in this program to high energy astrophysics, and specifically to GRBs, as you mentioned in your list of contents in the program.
Thank you for your question. GRBs, yes, they're really tricky to observe because you have to get on the sky right away. There are observers that have already subscribed to relevant alerts, not from us, from GRB communities that send out alerts, and they are willing to actually wake up in the middle of the night and jump on target. We have individuals who actually even got awards for the first GRB discovered with a small telescope, something like that. And their contribution is really important because they can't catch those first moments while the object is really very bright before it declines and a bigger telescope jumps in. So if you have, for example, access to an alert system that could provide this kind of information, please do send us an email, and we're going to actually inform the community that is under the High Energy Network observing section that is another way for them to find interesting targets. And we can definitely coordinate with you if you're interested in this kind of research to provide you with the data that you need.
Right.
These are targets of opportunity that some observers love to observe. They love to jump on it. So, they're thinking extragalactic. We're looking at something that is far, far away. Yeah, let's observe it.
I see. Yeah, that is indeed. You said that the general quarters are in Cambridge, Massachusetts, but is in CFA itself, or?
No, we are actually about 10 minutes walk from CFA, about less than a kilometer away.
Okay.
We have our own headquarters.
Okay, in the campus itself. Yeah, I did my postdoc there, so I know the area quite well, because I did several years ago my postdoc there. But yeah, so yeah, great. Nice to know that these efforts are being developed. I'm under development there. I have another question, a quick one, regarding the reviewing of the papers, because you said, okay, whatever you have, you send to this journal, but there might be some filtering, right? Some reviewing, and you mentioned very quickly on this. Could you comment a little bit more on this? How you guys filter information?
Our reviewers are professional astronomers, like in any other magazine, other scientific journal. The difference with our journal is that the reviewer, the referee, doesn't know the name and the affiliation of the authors. So that is the main idea of double-blind refereeing. When you send a manuscript to monthly notices, for example, or astronomy and astrophysics, then you don't know who your referee is, correct?
Right.
In our case, the author doesn't know who the referee is, but the referee does not know who the author is. And this way, what the referee has in front of them is just a paper. And what they need to focus on, to concentrate on, is the quality of the paper, the data itself, and not who the author is. That's irrelevant. That should be irrelevant. We're actually looking at something that has merit, and the merit in this particular case is the science that is presented. So that is the difference in our journal. We started the double-blind refereeing process in 2015, right when I started, actually. That was one of the first things that we did. And it turns out that now other journals, big scientific journals, are discussing the merit of a double-blind refereeing process. Exactly, because it takes out unconscious biases. So that's the only difference, really.
Yeah, you are right. That's really interesting, very interesting. So again, thank you so much for the great talk, and yeah, we'll be in touch.
Absolutely, absolutely. I really wish, oh God, I really wish I could actually meet you in person, all of you. I mean, this is good, but not good enough for me.
Yeah, eventually, after the pandemics, let's hope for the best.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
And now, Alessandro, please go ahead.
Still, I have a couple of perhaps quick questions. One is related to VSX, which I recently started to use intensively. How are the objects included to VSX, and how is it updated?
It's if I tell you almost manually, will you believe me? The answer is yes, right?
Yeah, I would.
So pretty much we work very closely with collaborations such as Gaia, the data releases, or ZTF, I'm spacing out right now, or Assassin, or any surveys that you can think of that could produce new objects. What's happening is that once they produce catalogs of known variable stars, and they classify them in specific kind of types, let's say, of stellar variability, then they send that list to our VSX team. And our VSX team actually does a quality check on these kind of results. The tricky part is that most of those surveys have automated pipelines that get the data out. And depending on the quality of whatever the pipeline is, the outcome is not necessarily reliable. So this is where the focus of the VSX team goes in, most of the energy, to make sure that the data, are reliable. The classification of those stars makes sense, and then import them on VSX. So, yeah, do you want to join the VSX data validation team?
Well, I was actually considering contributing.
Please.
So actually, I was not planning to ask, but at this point, the question is quite obvious. How many people are this VSX validation team?
2.
Caramba. All right.
It's Sebastian Otero is the driving force behind that. Sebastian is in Argentina, and he's working with another volunteer who is helping with the infrastructure, the back end. And then we do have individuals who come and go, but it's pretty much Sebastian's energy and passion about this product. VSX is his baby. He loves VSX. And he's working really hard to make sure that the data that are there are reliable.
Very quick and last question. You mentioned these data mining projects, which amazing. I didn't know about them. I got very, very excited. How does that interface or relates perhaps with the virtual observatory universe?
Ooh. It doesn't right now. So we don't have official connections with the virtual observatory efforts in Europe, in the US, etc. The main idea for these data mining projects provide another avenue for our community to get involved with projects and use both short-term and long-term data that are in our databases or in other databases to do a project and improve the knowledge that we have on specific objects. We started with VSX because, well, obviously, VSX does have a need of confirming all this kind of some stars, and we do need help with that. But we just completed a workshop on data mining for our community based on TESS data. So we taught members of our community how to retrieve TESS data and how using VSTAR do an analysis. The main idea for that is because TESS has a continuous coverage, right? And can provide a different set of timescales for objects that we already know. These kind of stars, this kind of information can be combined with long-term light curves of the AAVSO and or spectra and provide new information on those stars. So we're trying to actually, as I said, provide avenues for anyone to do research, even if they don't have their own data, because there's so much data out there. But all this so much data cannot do it by themselves. So this is where data mining comes in. And I think that we will definitely continue data mining projects in the future.
We stay in touch.
Absolutely. Think LSST. It's going to be insane. Professional astronomers don't have enough time to do those projects by themselves. You need help. You need I need help, goodness, for my projects. We all need collaborators. And this is a community that is so passionate about learning and being part of your team. It's available. And it's free. Did I mention free?
Stella, someone from the YouTube chat is telling Matheus Soares Palhares, a great lecturer. I already used some data from AAVSO for my research. So I guess some researcher from Brazil. It's great, someone also participating. And there is one more question from Rodrigo Rosas. Please, Rodrigo, go ahead.
Hello, Stella. It's a privilege to be here. I am a professor in philosophy and very much concerned on teaching, astronomy teaching for the past years. Is there any way that I can contribute?
Yes, please contact us. Yes, we would love to talk to you. Yeah. Please send us an email. Let's take this conversation offline. AAVSO@aavso.org. But we're welcoming education professionals, especially because we want to reach out more to the college and university communities and provide more projects of interest. And yeah, let's keep discussing. Let's keep talking.
It will be an honor for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question myself. Could you explain a little bit more about this ambassadors program? Are there people from outside the US participating in this program?
Oh yeah, so we have people from all over the world now. This is a very new initiative. We started it last year simply because we want to encourage younger individuals. Oh my gosh, it makes me feel old. Younger individuals to get more engaged with citizen science. There are lots of really bright young professionals out there who love popularizing science, discussing science in social media, discussing science in blogs, create videos, also doing research. Your students, right? They do research and they want to actually get their name out in a way that, you know, today's society will be recognizing. Let's face it, when you're trying to get employment nowadays, it's great to have a degree, it's great to have a certification of some sort, but your soft skills that you can get through volunteering or through being engaged in an organization is something that no one can teach you, and today's employees are looking for. So that's why I said, you know, there's an opportunity for those individuals to have a voice through the AAVSO, to be closer to citizen astronomy, to strengthen their ties with the whole community. For us, we're engaging more young individuals who bring a completely different type of energy, which I absolutely adore. I have their pictures here. I have my slideshow on another screen. I mean, there are people who are doing research. They're doing astrophotography. One of my ambassadors built her own spectrograph. We have individuals. I know, right? They're impressive. We have individuals who are using SLU for research projects. We have people who give talks on astronomy. They do research. They really want to be engaged. So that is the core of the AAVSO Ambassador Program. And that is, again, why we are sponsoring their membership. So if somebody is so passionate and so willing to participate, we don't want to put barriers there. My latest ambassador is from Romania. He's a guy who's so enthusiastic, who sent me a message actually over Facebook to tell me that his paper has been accepted to the Journal of the AAVSO. And I'm like, go you, you're awesome. So yes, it's an international community. We have people from all over the world. That's why I'm actually presenting it here. I want more people from all over the world. We build a community here. Astronomy has no borders. So
it's great. It's wonderful. Yes, and how is this work coordinated? I mean, the activities, the ambassador, he proposed these activities that he's going to, I don't know, some lectures of scenes, or the AAVSO gives some activities for them to.
We can recommend activities if they want to, but the main idea is for individuals to use what they're passionate about. So within a range of activities, right? So if you're interested in the solar system, we can discuss, but the AAVSO does not work on asteroids. Anything that has to do with variable stars, though, it's very welcoming. So we don't want people to do something different than what they're already interested in. We just want them to cultivate their own interests and their own passions and bring it up a notch. So our ambassadors, in order to be an ambassador, you have to kind of participate in 3 different events over a year. And those events can be research projects, sidewalk astronomy, give a talk, engage, like students, do whatever you want to do. And that is pretty much their obligation. We are coordinating from headquarters. So I have a staff member who is the manager of this program. And also we're having is it monthly meetings? I think it's monthly meetings over Zoom with our ambassadors. We have a very active Slack channel where people are actually even asking questions to each other. It's amazing to see how those individuals are learning from each other. I don't have much time to be following their conversations, but when I do, I'm also kind of just watching them grow through this program is amazing. So yes, coordination is happening through the AAVSO. And opportunities, if they want opportunities, for example, we offer them free registration to our meetings, so they can actually give talks if they want to. We're offering, now we have a webinar series, one of my ambassadors is running it. So we offer opportunities for engagement. And again, this is this can be seen as a leadership role, right? So for those individuals who showcase initiative and showcase this kind of engagement with the community, this can actually look very good on the resume.
Great. Stella, thank you very much. Thank you again for your time, for the wonderful presentation. As I think we will have contact in the future. I think also all the people here in the audience and YouTube, I think
very nice.
A lot of people like me, it's the first time they hear about all these programs, all these possibilities, the AAVSO. And thank you again.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity. As I said, I wish I could be there and interact with you in person, but this is the second best thing. Again, to highlight, the AAVSO is here for you as a researcher, for you as an educator, for you as an enthusiast, for you as anyone who wants to be involved in variable star astronomy. Our resources are free. Download them and join us. As I said, the membership for Brazil is $25 a year for a full membership, and you have full access to everything. And no page charges for the journal.
That's great.
That we hope.
Ok, thank you, Stella. Richard, podemos fechar a transmissão para o YouTube.